Hello everybody, Frozen X-Blade here with another epic Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile, and today I'm showing you Aromages, Aroma, whatever you want to call them. This deck is amazing, lockdown, swag stuff, I love it. It does require a bit of setup, so if your opponent's deck is blitzing, per se, as I like to call it, then it might be a hard match up, but I definitely think this deck is in the meta. I'd love to use it, and I'm going to show you the deck profile for it. So, we're starting out. If you don't know, the Aromages are an archetype that's relatively new, and their effects are activated when you gain life points or when your life points are higher than your opponent. So basically, they're a life point gaining archetype. So let's get into the deck profile. First, I run 2 Aromage Bergamot. Now, I'm thinking of only running 1, considering it is a level 6, and it is kind of hard to get out. But this is basically your boss monster for the deck. If Garden's on the field, it's a 3900 attack beater that does piercing damage. So it's just generally an amazing card. Next, we got 2 Aromage Rosemary. I don't like 3 because this is definitely not my favorite card because, oftentimes, I'll activate this card's effect and I'll have to change the battle position of one of my own monsters. It gets really cloggy and I just generally don't like the monster, but it can be useful, so I still do run 2 of them. Next, we got 3 Aromage Kananga. This is the level 3 Earth type one. So its effect is when your life points is higher than your opponent's, all monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack and defense, which is enormously useful. Basically, it's a burden of the mighty to all of your opponent's monsters, and it is stackable, so it's very great. And also, it returns spells and traps to the hand if you gain life points, so it's just generally really good. Next, we got 3 Lonefire, Instant Bergamot, even though this can conflict with, like, Lose a Turn and Vanities, but it's still just really good, especially if you get Soul Charge. Like, Lonefire plus Soul Charge is basically GG. I run 2 Yuki Asagi. It's basically an effect veiler that I just like a lot more, and it's also a tuner, so you can run all these great synchros. I just really like it. Next, we got 3 Aromage Jasmine. So this card is basically your consistency. When you gain life points, you can draw a card, and also you get an extra normal summon, so it's a really good card. Also, very high defense for a level 2 monster. Next, we got Aroma Jar, Aroma Pot, whichever. This card is newer than the others, and I really love it. Basically, it lets you activate these guys' effect during your opponent's turn also, and it's just a huge wall. It can't be destroyed by battle when it's flipped up, so if you set it and people attack it, they can't destroy it, which against the right deck is potentially GG. Like, I was up against a Burning Abyss player earlier, and he like went all in, 6 cards left in his deck first turn, and my face down was an Aroma Jar, and I outlasted him until the end of the duel. So fun. Next, we got 3 Pot of Duality. If you run Upstart, you're a scrub, because then you can't activate all these monsters' effects. So Pot of Duality is your obvious next choice, because Reckless is a bit too slow for my liking. For our other consistency, we got Magic Planner, since like all but one of the trap cards in this deck are continuous. We have 1 Raigeki and 1 Soul Charge. Next, we have 3 Aroma Garden, which I really like. So, once per turn, if you control an Aroma monster, you can gain 500 life points, setting off all their effects. And also, they gain 500 attack and defense until your opponent's next end phase, so they basically get a huge boost in attack. Combined with this card and potentially Bergamot, like, you can OTK pretty easily. Next, its other effect is when an aroma monster, is destroyed by a battle or a card effect, you gain 1,000 life points. So it's just super good. Next, we have 1 Vanity's Emptiness. If this card was still at 3, this deck would be insane, but super sad, should only 1. but you definitely want to run the one that you're allowed. Our replacement for vanities per se is lose a turn. This deck is so much better with it. If you control no special summon monsters, so basically no lone fire, it locks down your opponent completely. They negate the effects of special summon monsters the turn they are special summoned, and it changes them to defense position, so it's just really good. Next we got Dry Wind. I'm thinking of running 2, but 1 has been working pretty well because I don't really need to pop very often. So basically how this works, if you gain life points, you can pop a face-up monster your opponent controls, which is really useful. Also, if you control an aroma monster and your life points is at least 3,000 higher than your opponent, you can pay life points equal to the difference. Destroy face-up monsters your opponent controls whose total attack is less than equal to the amount of life points paid. So basically, you can wipe out your opponent's field with this card. That's basically how it works, and it's very useful. 2 Fiendish Chain, definitely borderline running 3 here. I might give up this Draining Shield just for a 3rd because it's really good. But I think I was up like against some weird deck, and it hit me, oh my gosh, this card doesn't work against normal monsters, and he just completely destroyed me because Fiendish Chain was not working for me. For these other 3, we got Refreshing Wind. So this card is basically a searcher for any Aromage that you want. It's super good. You can pay 1,000 life points to add 1 from your deck to your hand. I know paying life points isn't the best with this deck, but if your life points is less than your opponent's, you can gain 500 life points, setting off everyone's effect and making everyone happy. Next, I run 1 Draining Shield just because you gain life points from it, set off effects, don't really need to explain it. Onto the extra deck, we got 1 Thought Ruler Archfiend. I like this because, well, you can gain life points from it, and you can, like, make it with some weird combinations. I don't know, do what you want. Yuki Usagi, Jasmine, Kananga, Pot, Rosemary, Yuki Usagi, I don't know. It's just good. Next I run 1 Moonlight Rose Dragon, pretty staple level 7 at this point in the OCG. 1 Black Rose Dragon, and I'm not even including this for a nuke. This card is super good in this deck because of its second effect. A lot of people forget about second effect because it's just a generic nuke that lots of people use, but you can remove from play a plant-type monster to change 1 defense position monster your opponent controls to face-up attack and reduce its attack to 0 until the end phase. It's basically something you can use to get around walls or someone being annoying and setting cards like Gear Armor. It's just really amazing. You got 1 Goyo, best level 6, don't need to explain, why isn't this limited, lol. 1 Magical Android, Yuki is a psychic, Thought Ruler is a psychic, gains life points, also a really good level 5. I'm gonna run 1 Leo, just because sometimes you'll have like a really full board and you just want to go all in. Just go Leo then. Next on to the XCs, we run 1 M7 because we run 2 Bergamot. It's not that hard to get out. For our level 4s, we got Castell, Exciton Knight, Volval Chain, and Cowboy. On to our level 3s, we also run 4 of these. Acid Golem, obvious. Melee of the Trees, this card's super good. It's basically a Foolish Burial for plant-type monsters. So like you can soul charge into them or something. Or feed for Black Rose. And also you can special summon a plant-type monster from your graveyard in defense position. Aroma Pot, Lone Fire, do whatever you want. It's just really good. Next we got Wind Up Zen Mains, you know, staple level 3, and Fortune Tune, also a staple level 3, but also it gains life points for you, so it fits super well with this deck. Well guys, that's it for this deck profile. If you want to see some gameplay, some duels of this, then definitely make sure to leave a like down below, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Anyway guys, that's it for this video, and I guess I'll see you all next time on Sunday. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.